Hello everyone, thank you again for joining me on my channel, Bob Dempster Kitchen. Today we are going to make some fantastic potatoes. What kind of potatoes? Scallop potatoes with ground beef. Oh, it's going to be good. Gotta try it. We're going to get started right away. Tell you what the ingredients are. Our ingredients are, of course, the potatoes right here. I've already peeled those, got those sitting in water so they don't turn brown. And then, of course, we have got our cheese and our spices. We're going to have two, we'll say, garlic buds. I've got a fresh nutmeg. There's paprika, flour, chicken stock, and I'm also going to use some New Orleans Cajun seasoning. I'm going to try that, but you can use whatever seasoning you like. Also, we're going to have onion powder, thyme, this thyme fresh out of my garden. Of course, you can buy it in the store, and that's what most people do. And on the nutmeg, if you don't have the fresh nutmeg, then you can use the standard ground nutmeg that you buy in the store. Then we've got our onion, salt and pepper, and we're going to get started right now. All right, I'm going to be using a mandolin. This is something we're going to be cutting the onions very thinly, slice them very thinly, Anyway, and potatoes, I'm going to slice those also using the mandolin. Now, when you use the mandolin, be very careful because they're very sharp. A lot of people can cut themselves pretty bad. This is going to be cutting this onion nice and thin. Now the potatoes, I'm going to just use a knife, and you want to go very thin with these. Just like that. Nice and thin and even. That way they cook even. Now we have the scallop potatoes all done. Put them in water so they don't turn brown till I'm ready to put them in the baking dish. Now we are taking some olive oil, probably a couple of tablespoons, and putting it into this hot pan. Get the pan nice and hot, then put the olive oil in there and spread it all around. Get it all where it's nice and hot before you put your hamburger meat in or your ground beef in. For whatever meat you want to put in, you can put any kind of meat in this dish. Some people put ham. This one is ground beef, which is delicious. Turns out great. Anyway, chopping that up, getting that all in there, and after it's all in there and we get it kind of brown, then we're going to take the onions and the garlic buds and put them in, mix them all in together. All right, after the ground beef has cooked and it isn't quite done because it is going to be baking, you're going to add your salt and your pepper and your Cajun seasoning, and after you mix that for about a minute, take it off the stove, put it in a bowl, and we're going to save the oil from the meat because we're going to be making a roux. After the meat has been taken out, just add about 3 tablespoons of butter, 3 or 4 tablespoons of butter. Let that melt, and then you're going to start putting in your flour. And we have 2 or 3 tablespoons of flour equal to the butter. 3 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of flour, that type of thing. So add that in gradually and stir that up so you can get the raw taste out and get it cooking. Cook that for about a couple of minutes, stirring constantly. And as you are stirring up the flour mixture, then you're going to add maybe one garlic bud, and that'll be chopped garlic bud. And then add your Cajun seasoning a little more, and then start pouring in your milk a little at a time. And we're going to be stirring constantly until it starts to thicken. The flour will make that thicken. And we want it to a certain consistency, and you'll see how that is in just a second. Here we are still stirring. It's a little thin, so we need to keep stirring, getting it thicker, and now here it's a little thicker. Now we're going to be starting to add the cheese, probably a cup of cheese. We'll add it slowly and mix at the same time. After you've pulled the mixture off to the side, then bring your baking pan, and it is a greased baking pan. I've sprayed it with the spray. And you're going to start adding your cheese sauce on the bottom, just a little layer of cheese sauce on the bottom. And then after that, we're going to start layering the potatoes just on the edge of each one, and you want to keep going around until the whole baking dish is filled with those scallop potatoes. And the reason you want to just do on the edge and not stack them is because you want it to cook correctly and all the way through, and each piece is going to cook the same. After you've done that first layer, then get some more cheese sauce, scoop that in, and just kind of put a light layer over those scallop potatoes. And then we're going to take the meat sauce and put a nice little layer on top of that. One of the things that I forgot to do is add the onions. We want to add a layer of onions on each one of these layers as well. So add your layer lightly, onions lightly, and put your nutmeg in there, little nutmeg, and then another layer of cheese lightly. And then another layer of scallop potatoes on top of that. And then we've got another layer of potatoes. It seems like we have plenty of potatoes, which is a good thing, and it isn't a problem to add 3 or 4 layers of potatoes on the scallop potatoes. So just do whatever you want. You can have just 2 layers, you can have 3 or 4, and then just put your ingredients in between each one of them as we've laid out for you here today. And now we have placed this in the oven at 350 degrees. And I had added paprika on the top. We'll be cooking this for 1 hour. 350 degrees. There we are. There we are. What do you think? Does that look good? I can't wait to taste it. But we're going to let it rest for a few minutes. And here we are with the plate and that delicious scallops with ground beef. We're going to taste this, see how it tastes. Always have to taste this. I have sour cream there, a little of my hot sauce around there. Oh yeah, that is really good. That is excellent. You gotta come and try that. You wanna come over here and try it? All right. Be sure and make it. Oh, it is good. Oh yeah. Thanks for joining me today on the scallop potatoes. I hope you try it. It's really going to be good. It is good. It's delicious. And I appreciate you joining me on my channel. Hit the subscribe button and the bell to get the notification of the next video. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Bye-bye.